Hello and welcome to the special edition of our Hockey Cast. We are having a trade deadline special show here tonight. I am Dave Ball, also known as Blinson on Reddit and at Blinson1 on Twitter. With me, I am joined by Cassie and Will here. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves and we can get started.
I'm Cassie. I am Abstract Halo on Reddit, Twitter, social media in general because I lack creativity.
I'm Will. I'm Dr. Liam on everything because I also lack creativity and I'm also lazy.
That too.
Alright, so today we had a bunch of trades going down, really.
And
Well,
everyone said it was going to be boring.
I mean, everyone kind of thought it was because there was a lot of trades going down beforehand. But then you kind of have really starting yesterday, there was a lot of bigger names going, so everyone didn't think much was going to happen today.
There were more deadline deals this year than there have been since 2010.
Yeah, there was a lot. So.
And some at some really weird hours of the night.
Yes, that was really fun to wake up to in the middle of the night, really. So I guess we're going to get started with, on February 28th, there was a trade between the Blackhawks and the Coyotes. Anton Vermette going to the Blackhawks with Callis Dalback, I guess.
Claus Dahlback.
Oh, thank you. And a 2015 first-round pick going to the Coyotes. What do you guys think about this trade?
I don't think Vermette's worth the first round pick this year.
Really?
The fact of the matter is everybody knew that Antoine Vermette was going to get traded because his name has been on the block for months. Mm-hmm. And the Coyotes have been shopping him around so much that they drove up the price because people wanted him because he was their best scorer on the team. Mm-hmm. And he provides good depth offense to a good team. So because of that, the price drove up and drove up.
Yes. And with Blackhawks, they do need, I guess, a better scorer for their team. Because that's kind of one of the things with Patrick Kane going down now. They don't have that, big offensive punch that they did.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the big movement for him coming there. So.
Yeah, it's. I still think a first round in this year's draft is a little.
A little steep, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little steep. If it was maybe a 2016 first rounder, I could see it being not being as bad. But the thing is, Blackhawks are also going to be handcuffing themselves because they're giving away all these picks, and they don't really have much to restock the cupboards, and they're going to have to get rid of a lot of people in the next year or two.
They did get rid of a lot of picks today, so I wonder how many picks they do have as of right now. It's 2015. Let me look that up. But I don't think they have that many left. Because I know they lost a second rounder to Philadelphia.
They did have two second rounders.
Yeah. So, but still, it's kind of, you would think they would try to keep something with how their draft picks are going, with how their drafts are going. Right now, they still have a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh.
Okay. Good luck with that. I mean, this is a deep draft, but I don't think it's that deep.
Yeah, I mean, so. Unless they also got another. They have 2 seconds. The one that they traded to Philadelphia, and one they got because they didn't sign a player. They didn't sign Kevin Hayes. So they got a pick from, I think, who was that signed? Was that Rangers that signed Kevin Hayes?
I believe so.
So that's who they got there. So they have a second through 7th. So it's not that bad. I thought they got rid of a lot more, but apparently they didn't.
Not as much as New Jersey's gotten rid of.
Yeah.
Okay. Really not much more to say about that one. Before we go on, if we butcher names, not on purpose, some of these names, see, hockey is an international sport, and sometimes names for players that are from maybe Eastern Europe are a little bit harder to pronounce, so not intentional.
And we all know my history with trying to pronounce names, and I'm terrible. I usually have Blake and LA Dave to correct me. So, so I guess we're heading into the next one. This one's starting the trades going yesterday.
Yeah.
This first one is Curtis Glencross going to the Capitals, with Calgary getting a 2015 second and a 2015 third round pick. I mean, I
Uh,
guess this would really help the uh, Caps. I know is he a winger?
Forward. I think he is.
So he might be able to fit right onto that top line with Ovechkin and Backstrom, unless he's the same side as Ovechkin. I'm not quite sure. That up.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade for both. Didn't give up as much as well, I mean, it's a little pricey, but
Mm-hmm.
Calgary's run this year is, I don't think, sustainable. So it's
Mm-hmm.
better for them to kind of stock up on picks in case they have a fall from grace like the Avalanche have. Like if you look at how good the Avalanche did last year, and then we look and where they're at
Yeah.
now, Calgary's kind
I
of doing the
mean,
same thing.
if you look at any advanced stats, you kind of knew the Avalanche were gonna fall.
Oh yeah,
I mean, the only thing they really had was speed, I think, last year,
and goaltending.
and goaltending. Yeah, has the goaltending been the same as it was last year?
Not at all.
Injured.
Oh,
There's been a lot of
almost
injuries
injured.
too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I have him in fantasy.
so you know it very well.
I know he's been injured, so
Yeah, Ovechkin and Curtis Glencross play on the same side, so it's not going to help them out on the top line. But he's still a very good player. They could slot right into their top six.
yeah. Um, Another big trade. This one's fairly decent. Yeah, this one's big.
Yeah.
uh, Keith Yandel, Chris Summers, and a 2015 fourth round pick went to New York, and the Arizona got John Moore, Anthony Duclair, a 2016 conditional first round pick, and a 2015 second round pick.
Do we know what that condition is there?
Let me look if I can get the conditions.
But that could be a very good trade for Rangers. Rangers are kind of going all in this year, it seems. I mean, to
Yeah.
get Keith Yandel is a very good defenseman. I'm not quite sure about Chris Summers. I believe he's probably just a prospect at this point. But giving up John Moore, which is a big part of their depth, and then Anthony Duclair, which I think is one of their better prospects.
Yep, and the Duclair thing helps Arizona a lot because he played on a line at World Juniors with Max Domi,
Mm-hmm.
and did wonderfully with Domi, and Domi is a prospect in the Arizona system, so that is a future move for them. And I'm trying to figure out what the conditions are.
I don't see a conditional where I'm looking at right now. It just says conditional first round. And also, 50% of Yandel's salary has been retained, so it's not like they have that big cap hit for that either.
No, that's a nice one.
What are your thoughts on this, Will, this trade?
Well, it's pretty obvious that the Coyotes are trying to rival the Sabres in tanking ability, but Keith Yandel is another guy that's been on the block for quite a while. The Coyotes had quite a few of those guys, and I think that he'll be a good fit in New York. I'm not sure how people feel about John Moore going the other way, but I think this does help the Rangers in the long run.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I found the condition. It's the conditional first round pick in the Yandel deal is lottery protected. The Coyotes only get the Rangers' 2016 first round pick if the Rangers make the playoffs next season. If the Rangers miss it, they keep it, and Arizona gets their top choice in 2017.
Okay.
So
So that's a
basically a 2016 or 2017 first round pick.
so it's essentially what the Islanders did with the Vanek trade with Buffalo
Mm-hmm.
last year.
Kind of, except
Except
the
not
Islanders
as
had the option of moving the pick if it was top
top
10.
top five, I thought.
I
I
think
thought
it
it
was
was
top 10. I
it could have
think
been
it
top
was
It
five.
was
top 5.
it was like that, but essentially the pick can move if they miss the playoffs, or pick
But
will move.
I feel like this is more. They don't have the option. If the Rangers don't make the playoffs, the Coyotes do not get it.
Right, they'll get it the next year,
Yeah,
which is
they are required to get it the next year. Yeah.
just fine.
But yeah, I guess it's a really good deal for the Rangers.
That trade, from a personnel standpoint, really smells like Darcy Regier involved. It really, because he is one of the assistant GMs now in Arizona,
Mhm.
and that trade is structured very much like many Sabres trades have been in the past.
Especially picking up Anthony Duclair.
Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, Duclair.
So,
So, I mean, for the Rangers, this is actually pretty good because they don't really have a good track record with their first round picks anyway. I mean, if you look at I know there was, when this was announced, there was a whole list of their past first rounds.
their
And,
the last time the Rangers picked in the first round was 2012, and they picked defenseman Brady Shea.
mhm.
So, and I'm glad you didn't have to try and read that name because you wouldn't have pronounced it right. Because if you, his name is
Calling me
spelled like,
out. Just calling me out.
no, his name is spelled Skeji.
Oh yeah, no, I would have no chance.
He's it's pronounced Shay.
But
But
from what I remember from the list, the only one that really on that list was Michael Delzato, who's not even on their team anymore.
right.
Also, JT Miller and
Yeah,
Mark Stahl are the only ones that have really hit since like 2005.
Yeah.
yeah. I think since 2000, really, they haven't really had a hit. I
From
remember the list
a
going down in 2000.
from a
So
prospect standpoint, I think Brady Shea will probably be joining the Rangers at some point in I'm hoping in maybe a year. He's in his junior year at the University of Minnesota.
so you got a chance to watch him up close, basically.
Yes, I've gotten the chance to watch him, which is also why I know how to pronounce his name. But I mean, I hope he gets to stay for his senior year, but I would not be surprised to see if he gets sent to the farm team for
Yeah.
Rangers.
Yeah,
So,
it's definitely a tough jump to go from college to right to the NHL.
yeah.
Very special players can really do that. So I know there's a big, playing difference between those two,
Yep.
and obviously a huge competitive difference between the NHL and college. So I can see him definitely going to the AHL for a little bit. I just looked up Chris Summers, the other person going to the New York Rangers. He's a 27-year-old defenseman. He's a native of Michigan, but he kind of has been bounced around between the AHL and NHL for the Coyotes since 2010, it looks like. I mean, he's only played kind of 64 games since 2010 in the NHL. So I guess he's just a kind of a low-end prospect, really, AHL journeyman, seems like.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a good trade for both. Though the Rangers are definitely going to have a lot of problems with depth. Because they also took part in the next trade, where they sent away Lee Stepniak.
Next two trades.
Next two trades, yeah. Where they sent away Lee Stepniak to the Jets and got Carl Klingberg back. I know this trade kind of gave all the people in Dallas a heart attack because they also have a Klingberg there that they thought was traded.
Yes, seeing the last name that's common to one on your own team, you're like, what?
Yeah. So, I guess this is kind of an even trade. I don't really know. I know Lee Stempniak was kind of their third, fourth liner on the Rangers. I'm not sure about Carl Klingberg, see how good he was, but he's 24 years old, so he's fairly young.
Yeah.
And he looks like he is going to be in the AHL. So he has a little bit of time still left.
Mm-hmm.
He's only played 12 games in the NHL, with only scoring 1 point, which was a goal.
Those 12 games are across 4 different years.
Yeah, it was his first season. He was in 2011-2012, where he played 6, and then 2013-14, where he played 3, 2014-15 this year, where he played 2. But he still has time to kind of find out what he is, if can make it.
If not, he'll just be one of those guys that you call up in a pinch.
Yeah.
I know the Sabres have one in Matt Ellis who's pretty much, hey, I'm going to be a career AHL guy, but
Gonna be a fringe player.
Yeah, you can just call me up when needed.
So what I like about this trade is it really helps the Winnipeg Jets right now, putting Lee Stempniak in there. help them with the playoff push and help hopefully get them deep into the playoffs. And this helps an already good New York Rangers team with the future if Carl Klingberg ends up getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rangers definitely don't have the prospects that they kind of once had. And they haven't been. Sather has not been really good at drafting during his tenure there. We will see how good Carl Klingberg does for them. Because during the next trade, they got rid of another pick from next year. So not I guess that's a draft. 2016 draft isn't expected to be that deep. From what I remember from people talking about it.
From what I've been reading, it's not going to be. Well, I mean, it's obviously not going to be as deep as this year, but it's still the top. Like the first two rounds are going to be okay and be
Okay.
solid.
But it just
But
kind of drops off after that.
yeah, it's just going to kind of drop off. Most drafts do, but this year is going to.
This year kind of tailors slowly out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they got rid of James Shepard.
Mm-hmm. Who I
They
just
got.
looked up. He is a 26-year-old who I guess used to play for the Minnesota Wild also.
Wow.
Yeah,
He must not have been that good.
he was on your team for 3 seasons. On that team for 3 seasons. 2007, 2008, where he played 78 games. 8-9, where he played all 82. And 9-10, where he played 64. But since then, he got sent over to the Sharks, where he played a good number of games there.
Just looking at his stats, he just looks like a bottom six guy.
He's a bottom 6 guy, it seems like. Maybe more of an energy line player.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Whatever. All right. So this trade, Dallas did some, or not Dallas. Well, yeah, Dallas did do something. Dallas and Detroit did stuff. Dallas sent Eric Cole and a 2015 conditional third-round pick to Detroit, and Detroit sent a couple of prospects, Matthias Backman and Matthias Janmark, and a 2015 second-round pick.
Matthias, you mean? Is it Matthias?
Might be Matthias. Whatever, it's Finn. They're both Swedish, or they're both Swedes. Again.
Names are difficult. Eric Cole is kind of an interesting player. He was fairly good for Dallas.
Yeah.
I know I have him on my fantasy team. He actually got me more points than I thought I was drafting him for.
And do we know the conditions on that conditional pick?
No, I do not look. I can look it up as you guys talk.
Okay. Apparently, I think Backman kind of left Grand Rapids this year and defected back to Sweden to play.
Looks like that.
So from what I gather, it's not really a big loss for Detroit because
They weren't really using him anyway.
yeah, they weren't using him, so he was like, I'm gonna just go back to Sweden.
In 18 games with the Griffins this year, he had 0 goals, 4 assists, 6 penalty minutes, and a -3 rating.
So not the best.
Especially on that pretty damn good Griffins team.
Yeah.
I can't seem to find what the condition is yet, so...
Yeah, so that's wish the NHL would list these things.
You think it would be so helpful if they did.
Or if TSN does.
Do you tell me, ESPN?
Matthias Janmark is also a Swedish player. He's only played 2 games in North America, both of them with the Grand Rapids Griffins, and he has 2 penalty minutes and no points. But he's spent his entire career in Sweden.
Okay.
But he's young. He's only 22.
But yeah, he is very young.
Mm-hmm.
So he will probably be a hopefully future player for them. Yeah. So, but hopefully Dallas can kind of start to pick things up because everyone thought they were going to be a little bit better than they're kind of doing this year.
Okay, so the condition on the pick, I figured it out.
Okay.
Detroit will return the third round pick if the Red Wings advance to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh.
So,
So it's a you either get it or you don't get it type of pick.
yep,
I never actually heard of that type of thing going. It's
that's
usually you get this pick or you get a later pick if this happens, or an earlier pick, depending on the
so.
situation. But yeah, that's kind of a weird condition. I guess the Red Wings are kind of hoping that they advance far enough, as most teams do.
Hmm. Okay. So this next trade. Oh, this one. Okay. So somebody on Twitter was saying, "Hey, don't go to sleep anytime soon because a big trade is going to happen." And then this happened, and there was a big trade, but this was not it. Brent Brett Connolly went to Boston from Tampa in exchange for a 2015 second round pick, 2016 second round pick. So a pair of second rounders. That was not a big deal for at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was kind of getting the feeling that Lightning fans were kind of upset about this trade. Seems like they all kind of liked Brent Connolly there. I
Well,
mean, he's only
yeah.
22 years old, so he's very young.
So it's
Yeah,
a
he's played 4 seasons in the NHL. Looks like he went right to the NHL, but has also bounced a little bit between the AHL and the NHL. But I guess he scored 18 goals in 134 NHL games, 32 points overall with 72 penalty minutes.
Yeah, he's got 12 goals in 50 games this year, so he seems like a really good depth player.
Yeah, might be able to get a little bit better as he gets older because he is only 22. So he could hopefully. He was selected sixth overall, so he's expected to be fairly decent, I guess.
yeah, and I can understand why Lightning fans would be a little bummed out about losing that.
Hmm. You
So
definitely always depth players tend to be the ones you're most bummed out about if you lose
yep. Alright,
because yeah,
so
the
then
next trade though,
at 2 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock ended up being 3 o'clock in the morning was officially announced. But Braden Coburn going to the Lightning with the Flyers getting a little bit more than I thought they would be when I was talking about this. I kind of saw them getting a first round and maybe a low range prospects. But in the end, they had gotten an NHL player in Radko Gudas.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Dave.
He had it
Yes.
the first time.
A 2015 first round pick and a 2015 third round pick. This is great because the Flyers didn't have a third round pick beforehand. It was traded away so we could get Andrew MacDonald for some reason. But
Oh, sorry.
but now we have two first round picks, and the last time the Flyers had two first round picks was in 2003 when they got Mike Richards and Jeff Carter. So I'm kind of hoping this kind of goes the same way for them.
Except they don't leave.
Yeah, well, Mike Richards could leave. We kind of all saw how that ended up being for him, with him playing
Yeah.
in the AHL now, and us getting, Wayne Simmons. I think that's a pretty good trade-off there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for this. Coburn has been the defensive whipping boy, basically. The fans hate him for no reason because he is when you notice him, it's a bad. When you don't notice him, it's normally good type of defenseman. Unless you notice him, the better. That's what I'm trying to get at. And obviously, that doesn't always work. But he was our most mobile defenseman. He was very good. I remember so many times Crosby being on a breakaway and Coburn just showing up and being like, "LOL, nope," and throwing him away. But I think this is going to help the Lightning with their defensive problems. He is a top four defenseman, and he's a very big mini eater. He's almost done 30 minutes a lot for us when
Very
he's
good.
played. So, and what I can tell from Gudis is he is 6'4" and 200 pounds. He's So, it's kind of a big hitter type of person. He is right now a bottom six defenseman, but he is, yeah, bottom six. He's a bottom pairing defenseman, but he can hit things really well. So he's basically another Luke Shen that we have.
And he's 24, so he's
Only
younger.
much scarier than Luke Shen.
And yeah, and plus, yeah, his beard is awesome.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say he
love
can
his
grow a beard.
Like, he reminds me of the Hartnell beard from the playoffs in 2010, where he looks like what's Yucatan Cornelius from the Rudolph movie. We've been lacking on the beard department in Philadelphia, and he definitely helps us.
How long until it turns orange?
It's kind of it's as soon as he put on the sweater, it's gonna turn orange, It's like instantaneous. I mean, if you look at Sean Couturier, he grew an orange beard. Voracek grows an orange beard. Uh,
But doesn't
Drew
Voracek
has. What?
dye some of it black first?
No, well, that was during Movember. Him and Drew found that for men stuff and dyed their mustaches black. So that's something they like to do for some reason. But I don't think he ever dyes it black. I think he just lets it go when he does grow it out. He's not growing it out now, so.
Yeah.
Gudis, he seems he's out for the rest of the season. He had season-ending knee surgery in January, so I think that's kind of why that third-round pick was also thrown in.
Yeah, probably.
But I was gonna say something. But one of the biggest things about this is Coburn was worth $4.5 million a year in cap hit, while Gudis is under $1 million a year. So that
So,
is a $3 million saving for our cap hit.
and you guys need that.
We have like $5 million in cap space now. I am so excited. We could actually do things in the off season.
Don't.
Hextall won't buy stupid things. He's not Holmgren.
Then another trade early this morning was Jeff Petrie, I think.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Went to Montreal in exchange for a 2015 second-round pick and a conditional fifth-round pick in 2015.
I know the Oilers fans are up in arms about this. They hate their GM even more because of this trade, because Petrie was apparently their best defenseman. That's not saying much.
Pretty much hands down, yeah.
But he was their best defenseman, and they only got this a little amount here.
Yep.
What I like to point out, the Flyers got a lot more for a player that hasn't played since April. He's 39 years old.
And the conditions on the pick are that pretty much if the Canadians win one round, the pick will become a fourth rounder. If they make the Eastern Conference Final, it will become a third rounder.
That's funny, because that's basically the same exact condition that the Flyers got for the Kimmo Timonen one.
Pretty much.
Except ours is fourth, third, or second.
Yeah. So those.
Yeah. I guess it could help them because they're two 2015 picks.
Yeah.
So this draft's supposed to be deep, and maybe they can finally end their rebuild.
I had water in my mouth when you said that.
No laughing.
Okay. The Canadians were not done. Then they stole for a 2016 fifth-round pick from Buffalo, Brian Flynn.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no more Flynn-sanity or Flynn-nasty or anything fun.
Is that what you guys call fun?
Flynn is one of those new era fourth liners who can kind of plug into. He's been plugged into a lot of places and succeeded. So he is sad to see him go.
Yeah, I'm a little peeved about this trade because I always liked Brian Flynn. He always seemed like a serviceable fourth liner that could slot into a third line role very easily. He's a very smart player, very fast player. He's not so quick with his hands, so that keeps him from being on top line. He doesn't have that great of a shot, but he's very smart and he never quits on a play, and I really like seeing him.
Yep, and he was like, whenever people would ask, who's the most underrated player on your team, and most Buffalo fans were going, Brian Flynn.
Mm-hmm.
So he's, yeah.
Oh, well, you guys got a pick out of him.
Yeah, but he is a pending RFA, not UFA.
So he could have.
Yes.
He could have been very cheap for you guys. When this is a 2016 fifth-round pick.
Yes.
So it's not even that deep of a draft. So you guys might not get any of that type of player. I mean, if you guys were the Red Wings, we would obviously get your future franchise cornerstone with that pick.
Yeah, but we're not the Red Wings.
Yeah. So we will it's kind of weird seeing the Buffalo get rid of a younger guy there. Especially one that obviously the fans loved. So I kind of just want to know what your GM was thinking with this.
We don't know what he's thinking. He has a plan.
You don't want to question the plan?
No, not really. It's kind of working, so.
All right, so I guess we'll head into the next trade.
So the
This
next
is not one
trade,
I'm doing.
next trade is the Coyotes furthering their tank by sending Zbynek Mihalik to the St. Louis Blues in exchange, and a conditional pick in exchange for Maxim Lechinov.
I'm gonna assume those are correct names.
And I'm gonna look up the conditions.
Yeah, I mean,
So Maxim Lechinov is a very young player. He's only 19. He's a center from Moscow. He's playing. He's going to go to Boston University next year, but he's been playing in the U.S. Hockey League for the last 2 years, and he seems like a fairly good player for his age.
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused about what they listed him as. He has UDC next to his name. Does that mean he's a center and a defenseman?
I don't know. The Coyotes are retaining half of salary in that deal. That's kind of important. I'm not finding anything on conditions.
Keeping half the salary of him and half the salary of Yandel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's okay. I guess that's fun.
They're gonna have to meet the floor.
That's true.
That too, and also a big reason that they're retaining some Mihalik's salary is because he's been out with, I believe, a hand surgery. I think is what it was. So he's not playing right now, and he should be back soon-ish, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So you had a question, Cassie?
No, I think he had a concussion, actually.
Oh, concussion, that's what you said.
Okay.
Well,
someone on the Coyotes had a hand surgery.
Now he's on Blues, so let's see what it... Roto World will have it. Concussion and stay-to-day. And I believe the conditions have to do with him playing.
Oh, okay.
Which would make sense now with knowing he's had a concussion since February 16th.
So that's more to the depth. I guess that's probably what the condition has to do with. I can't really find anything on it.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of assume that's what it is.
I remember hearing about it on Trade Center, and I think that's what they were talking about. Was directly tied to him coming back from his concussion.
Okay.
Which is fair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. You don't want to, trade for a player that doesn't play. And the Blues are kind of making a lot of moves in here. I guess they're kind of not wanting to be, first or second round exits anymore. I guess right now they're set to face Chicago, it seems, in the Central Division, which everyone kind of knows Chicago is one of their biggest rivals, and on top of that, they kind of have their way with St. Louis the past couple of years. Last time they met, they beat a team that everyone thought was going to go to the finals at least.
I was hoping they would go to the finals so I can get their
better pick, but it's kind of so they're definitely going all in, it seems. With they have had a couple trades this year, like later on, so I won't get to. But the next trade is kind of two, I guess, AHL people. Freddie Hamilton going to the Avalanche with Carl Stollery going to the Sharks. I guess that's like a minor league deal mostly.
That's a total minor league deal. I don't know anything about either player, so.
Yeah, I've never heard of either of them, so.
They have a combined 19 games of NHL experience between the two of them.
Yeah, that's definitely a minor league deal. But...
Okay, so one that wasn't a minor league deal was the Blues sending Ian Cole to Pittsburgh for Robert Bertuzzo and a 2016 seventh rounder.
I know this is kind of a deal that I think some Blues fans may have been a little. Was this the one that they were happy about?
No, this one they were pissed about.
Was this the one they were pissed about? I know they were happy about one trade they made.
It was a later on trade.
Oh, okay. So I guess they really liked Ian Cole. I guess he's a very young defenseman, maybe.
I think he's been with the team for a long time.
Yeah, that could have been it too.
And I know
He's
Penguins
27.
fans were happy about this because Bortuzzo is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Ian
Actually,
Cole was drafted by the Blues in 2007.
okay, so he's been with them a while. I know he's not their longest tenured player.
Yeah.
So they have a player on their team that was there a lot longer, but he's still a very young 26-year-old defenseman
hmm
who probably was one of their bigger defensemen. He's played 167 games through 5 seasons. He only has 9 goals and 22 assists for 31 points. I'm guessing he's more of a defensive defenseman.
Yeah.
But if this helped, hopefully this does not help the Penguins whatsoever.
I think the Penguins needed to get a defenseman because Ehrhoff has been suffering with some concussion issues.
Mm-hmm. They've had a whole lot of problems with their defense because
Yeah.
they're, with Mata being out with.
I feel so bad for that kid.
Is it a concussion right now that he's out
Shoulder.
with shoulder surgery?
Yeah.
I know he's had cancer earlier in the year, but
Yeah.
their defense has really taken a hit with a defense that wasn't all that great to begin with.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, they've always had problems on defense. Right now, Ali Mata's the only defenseman that's actually out.
no, Chris. Well, Ehrhoff has been,
No, he's in their defensive pairing lineups according to the Daily Faceoff.
according to Roto World, for the injuries, he's sidelined. It's been very day to day for him.
Okay. He skated on Monday after missing Sunday's game. Okay.
Yep, and then
So
he
he's
got
day to
pulled
day.
off in the middle of the skate because he wasn't doing so well.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's been interesting. Okay, let's see what's this trade. Oh, this is the trade that has pissed off the Blackhawks fan base.
Actually, Austin's apparently not happy about the Bertuzzo trade.
Oh. Oh, wow.
I think it was his favorite player when I was talking to him earlier today. That's his favorite player.
Oh, yeah, that always sucks when that happens.
I was a little mean when I replied back to him about it.
Okay, so, Blackhawks have sent Ben Smith and a 2017 conditional 7th round pick. Okay, I need to find the conditions on that.
They should have a website about conditions.
For Andrew Desjardins.
Yeah. I know they were really mad about this. Like, there was a Twitter up in arms. Like, there was talks about a full-fledged riot going on with on hockey Twitter today.
Even the eternally happy Shane was sad about this.
Yeah.
I just wonder why they liked Ben Smith so much.
I don't know.
Like, what's
Depth
this
player. Maybe it's the same thing with a lot of Sabres fans in Flynn. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's depth.
Yeah, that could be it.
The amount of times he fucked up was a lot less than the amount of times he did something productive.
You're slightly better than the average. That's why we love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should really be a website that's just about conditional picks.
Yeah.
Someone to go to like 20,000 different
Cat Geek
websites.
used to have it.
Sadly, Capgeek used to have it. So
Pro Sports Transactions has pretty good conditions, but they haven't updated it from the trades today.
TSN has it for some of them, but some of the others I could dig through Twitter's, but that'll take forever. So.
yes, it's just taking a little while to have everything load.
Yeah. Okay. After that trade was a minor league swap, but with kind of a major name that people recognize. The Islanders sent Corey Conacher to Vancouver for Dustin Jeffrey. It was just a straight AHL thing.
I thought Corey was on their
No.
NHL team.
Nope.
Nope. Corey Conacher has seen a massive fall from grace.
Oh, okay.
So that was a...
I thought he was on the line with who was their big hitters? The one with the awesome last name.
Clutterbuck.
Clutterbuck, yes. I thought he was on the line with Clutterbuck.
He was for a little while, but then they waived him and told him to go to Bridgeport because he's an AHL player.
They're in my division. I don't pay attention to them whatsoever.
Until the playoffs.
Yeah, they haven't been good this year. That's why I don't pay. They haven't been good up till this year. I mean, which is why I haven't never paid attention to them. But now they're actually doing things, and it makes me angry.
I think this trade is also another minor league swap. The Ducks
Yeah.
send Matt Clark to Colorado for Michael Sarbasa and a conditional seventh round pick.
Last name. I don't feel like a G should go after an S.
Uh, they've got like
Wow, that's
9 games, and
okay.
they've got 11 games between them, or 12 games
Yeah,
between
that's
them.
one swap, definitely.
And so after that swap is
I guess this is more of a major league deal with the name.
yes, Man Bear Pig got traded from the Sharks to the Islanders
I love that nickname for him.
for seventh round draft pick in 2017. For those who don't know who Man Bear Pig is, it is Tyler Kennedy. Go Google a picture of him, please.
I'm quite sad that he's back in my division. I didn't want to have to stare at him anymore. That makes me sad. But I get this. So it's kind of
It's,
a. I don't know what the condition is on that 2017 seventh round. It's probably
I'm
not that big of a condition if it's a 2017 seventh round pick.
yeah, no, it's not that. I don't know what the condition is, and who knows. Did we skip a trade?
I don't think so.
No, we didn't. Okay, no. The other one was another AHL trade. David Leggio got sent from the Islanders to Arizona for Mark Lewis.
Which I guess that's just a minor league deal for minor league deal.
Yep, Leggio is the one who I believe flipped the net during a
Yes.
shootout or a penalty shot or something.
Did he really? No, he flipped it coming in. So it was like a 2-on-0 coming down on him,
Oh yeah,
and he pulled the net down so he would make it a penalty shot, and he would have a chance. That was
yes.
him, right? I remember that.
He was the
I
one who
just
did
love that.
that.
That's the type of thing that you would do. You would think to do.
They actually put a rule in place afterwards.
I mean, it wasn't against the rules at the time, but it's just the thought that you would think to do that. And looking at Mark Lewis, I don't think he's ever played in the NHL.
Yep.
So,
I see we've gotten people who've Googled Tyler Kennedy.
well, that picture.
It's my favorite picture ever.
Oh, I apparently cannot retweet that. I guess you're privated.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
heading to the next trade. This is not one I'm going to try to pronounce, so go ahead.
Marek Zidlichky going to the Red Wings in exchange for a conditional draft pick. Let's see what it is. It's a third rounder in 2016 if Wings go to the Eastern Conference Final. Add a fifth in 2015 if the Wings go to Stanley Cup Final. A fifth back to Detroit, and third becomes a second. That is a complicated deal.
That sounds very complicated.
now, something about this deal we should all note is that earlier in the day, the reports were that the Red Wings were in on getting Dion Phaneuf.
Right.
And then as soon as I got this deal go through, there's the right-handed defenseman. They are not paying whatever Toronto wanted.
And from what I tell,
Allegedly,
Toronto wanted something big.
Allegedly, Dave Nonis asked for Anthony Mantha, and Ken Holland threw the phone across the room.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, that's not Dion Phaneuf. He's a big minutes eater, but he's worth $8 million a year right now on his contract.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite worth that. So.
No, he's a $5 million number 3, number 4 defenseman.
But he's been, playing as a number 1 on.
And that's a big problem. That's the main problem with him. He was thrown into that captaincy role and number 1 defenseman, and it's just not him.
So yeah, the Red Wings were trying to get him. Then this trade happened, and all talk about them getting Phaneuf was out the window. So.
Yeah. which is kind of
Makes sense.
expected. Yeah.
Okay, the next trade is uh, the patented Tim Murray is really gonna tank trade. Uh,
Going
Mikael
all in a little bit
Neuwirth
more.
got sent to the New York Islanders in exchange for Chad Johnson and a 2016 conditional third-round pick.
Do we know what the condition is on that?
I am grabbing them now if
Okay.
we have the conditions.
Chad Johnson, I know last year wasn't that bad on the Bruins, but
But
I
he
think
was
this
pretty
year he
bad
was
on the
bad.
Hurricanes.
Yeah, I think this year he's actually been pretty bad because I know there's a lot of things that were posted about him not being that great for the Islanders as backing up Halak.
His save percentage is like .88.
Oh wow. I mean, you can expect Halak to play a lot of games, so how many games has he played?
17 games this year.
He's actually played a little bit more than I expected, but that save percentage is not that
And I
great. So
don't
I
have the
guess
conditions on the contract I don't have conditions on the pick, but I'm wondering if it has to do with games played for Neuwirth.
I would assume it has either that or playoffs for the Islanders.
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting that Norverth and Halak were traded for each other last year,
Yes.
and now they're playing together.
Yes, that is pretty interesting. But yeah, I wrote a ditty on Twitter. Like I wrote a little song after this trade,
Mhm.
and nobody like acknowledged it, but it was good. It was like we have definitely gotten 30th place. Let's just say that. Because now Buffalo Sabres goaltending tandem is Anders Lindback and Chad Johnson.
Mm. Yeah, Anders Lindbach. I'm sorry, Anders Lindbach. You were okay when you were behind Pecorine, but after that, just he should just stop. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to kind of see how this will play out for Buffalo and for the Islanders. They might have a competent backup now for Halak, letting it some rest as they kind of get ready for the playoffs,
Yeah.
because they are most likely going unless they have a massive fall from grace.
Please.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they had a massive fall from grace. That would actually put my team into the playoffs if they did,
Okay.
because we are fourth in the Metro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this next one, Columbus and Ducks. Who wants to do that one? Saying that name.
James
Yes.
Wisniewski, I think that's how you say it, and a 2015 third round pick going to the Ducks, with the Blue Jackets getting Rene Bourque, William Karlsson, and 2015 second round pick. I'm actually surprised that James Wisniewski was sent away from Columbus because I know he did not want to be traded and he had a no movement clause in which he gave them a bunch of teams that wouldn't have been able to afford him, from what I understand. He just didn't want to leave. But I was actually really surprised that they found a way to make him leave.
Hmm.
And I guess they got some good prospects for him back. I'm not sure if their prospects are actual players. And the 2015 second round is probably going to be a good player in its own right.
Yeah.
But
William Carlson's a decent forward prospect. I believe Rene Bourque was waived earlier this year or traded
he's
to
33
Anaheim.
years old, so he's fairly, he's not young.
No, no, Bourque?
Yeah.
No. I was talking about Carlson.
33, and he's played on quite a few different teams.
Yeah.
He started on the Blackhawks, going to the Flames, then the Canadiens. I think last year, did he score a hat trick in the playoffs?
Yeah, he
He
did.
was one of the first players to score a hat trick in the playoffs and then be waived. Is that him?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's kind of what that is. So I
Yeah.
think it's a good trade for both sides. I mean, Columbus gets somebody to fill a spot for now, and a prospect and a pick,
Yeah.
and then
Well, they're getting rid of one of their big minute-eating defensemen, who they didn't sign to a very friendly contract, from what if I remember.
no.
I don't think
So
it was a fairly friendly contract. Let me look that up. His contract is, well, it's only $5 million a year for next 2 years. ending in after the 2016-17 season. So it's not that bad.
No.
Hold on. Or no, it's a for the Ducks. It's a $1.212 million cap hit.
Okay, that's not bad.
So that's because I think half the money was already paid. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's getting $5 million this year, $5 million next year, and then $3 million the final year.
So the Ducks were getting term as well in this.
Yeah.
So this is this is good for both sides.
Yeah.
Okay. That
The
is trade.
next trade, Jordan Leopold going to the Wild with Justin Falk and a 2015 fifth-round pick going to Columbus.
Yes.
The Columbus is giving up so many defensemen.
Okay, so Jordan Leopold has been healthy scratched in
Oh, he has.
in Columbus for a while because Columbus, they're not making the playoffs and they're playing all their young guys to get them some
Okay.
experience. Justin Falk, according to Russo, and he's pretty reliable when it comes to Wild stuff, wanted out of the organization, so they were trying to do that. Minnesota's also got a couple key defensemen injured right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they like their former Gophers, and they like their former Sabres at this rate. So there you go, Jordan Leopold. And if you haven't seen the little letter that his daughter wrote back in January, floating around the net, you should give it a read. It's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
saw
adorable.
Yeah.
The trade makes sense.
The next trade we kind of have here is Olli Jokinen going to, I think it's his 10th NHL team in his career, to the Blues with Joachim Lidstrom, I think Joachim
Yeah.
Lidstrom, and a conditional 2016 sixth-round pick. So I know this is the one that the St. Louis Blues are very happy about. And
Yeah.
I guess if Olli Jokinen can find some type of magic with the Blues, this could be a good trade for them. He was not going to be happy in the Leafs. He made that perfectly clear he was not happy, especially when he came from, the #1 NHL team in the Preds going to the Leafs.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy.
So he's got a chance at the playoffs now. Olli Jokinen has only ever played in 6 playoffs games in his career.
Really?
Yes.
How long he's been around?
Yes. This is why it's kind of a big deal to get him on a team, because he not only has he not gotten a cup, he hasn't really had a shot at a cup. Because he did play in Florida for a bit.
Mm-hmm. He started with the Kings, it looks like, in '97.
Which was when they weren't not very good.
And then he went to the Islanders, who haven't been good since the '80s. Then he went to the Panthers, who I think during that time they were no, never mind, that wasn't that time. I know when they started off, they went right to the Stanley Cup Finals in like their first year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was on the Florida for quite a number of years. Then the Coyotes for a year, and then the Flames, which is where he got his second dose of playoff hockey. No, he got his first dose of playoff hockey with the Flames during 08-09. And then he went to the Rangers, back to the Flames, and Jets, and then the Predators and Leafs this year. So he might be finally able to get his 6th playoff game.
7th. He played 6 playoff games with the Flames.
Yeah, 7th playoff game. I was reading the wrong line.
So yeah, he has not been on the playoffs or been to the playoffs much.
Yeah. For being how old he is. How old is he? He's 36 years old. That's kind of amazing. He just has not been lucky with who he's signed with.
Nope. Okay.
So.
And
then I don't know about the other two or what the condition is.
I don't know about the condition, but
I know the Blues fans were happy that this forward was gone. Lindstrom was gone, so I'm guessing that's good.
Mm-hmm. And Jokinen, when he got traded to Toronto, Toronto told him that they would do their best to get him back on a playoff team.
Mm.
So they did.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Oh, this trade. Uh,
One Bruins fans were happy about.
what, the Mitchell one? Yeah,
Did I jump? I jumped up too high.
okay.
No, we're not on the Mitchell one.
Yeah, Ollie Jokinen and Tori Mitchell.
I have Max Talbot as the next one.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Talbot on mine?
It's Max Talbot and Paul Carey going to the Bruins
Oh,
with
yeah, no, it
Jordan
was out of order.
Caron and 2016 sixth round pick going to the Avalanche.
Yeah, it's out of order for me. Okay.
Mitchell was never even on the Bruins.
I know. I was just okay.
You're
Max
on about.
Talbot. Yeah, that trade. Jordan
This is
Caron.
one. Yeah, Bruins did not like him from what I could tell. Bruins fans didn't, so they were happy about this. And they got a 2016 sixth round pick out of it. They gave up a 2016 eighth round. But Max Talbot, he is a fairly decent penalty killer. I know we liked him when he was in Philadelphia. Uh, Pittsburgh fans loved him. I'm not sure about Paul Carey, how good he is.
Carey. Let's see here. I've never heard of him, so
Yeah.
let's see. 26. All AHL.
Okay.
He's only played 12 NHL games.
So he's a minor leaguer. Okay.
Yeah, and he has no goals, no assists, and 2 penalty minutes.
I guess this was mainly about getting rid of Jordan Caron for them.
I believe so.
Okay. The next trade kind of confused a lot of people.
Okay.
So the Penguins getting Ben Lovejoy back and giving up Simon Dupree's.
Yeah.
This confused a lot of people because they traded away Ben Lovejoy to the Ducks or let him walk. I forget how it went, and then trade for him back and giving up, I think, one of their better defensemen.
Yeah.
Simon Dupree is one of their better defensemen. I know Ben Lovejoy wasn't that good in Pittsburgh. I remember him being on the Pittsburgh team in 2012 and him being on the ice when Claude Giroux scored that goal in Game 6. That just basically broke the Penguins' back and they never were able to win. But from what I understand, the Penguins fans never really liked him.
Yeah, and from this, I thought, well, maybe it's a cap thing, but no, it's not even a cap move. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
A 23-year-old defenseman who I guess has a lot of upside to him. He's been, looks like, in and out of the AHL, NHL. He's played 144 NHL games with 5 goals, 28 assists for 33 points, and 120 penalty minutes.
Yeah, nothing makes sense in this. Like, there's not even cap relief or anything. It's just.
Ben Lovejoy is 31 years old to kind of show that. And in 248 games, he has 10 goals, 54 assists for 64 points.
So he's not that good either.
Yeah, who knows why the Penguins wanted him back. I'm happy for it because he was terrible when he was with them.
Yeah.
So he might still be terrible.
Probably is still terrible.
I think he turned it around a little bit on the Ducks. But going to a, Penguins defensive system might not be something that he's good with.
Yeah.
So the next trade is going to the Bruins is Zach Phillips. Going to the Wild is Jared Knight. I guess this is minor league?
Yeah. This is definitely minor league. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not sure about that. You would know more about
I don't
players
even
than
know. I don't even know who Zach Phillips is. I don't. So it is definitely minor league. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, works for me. With the next trade to the Canadiens is Torrey Mitchell, and going to the Sabres is Jack Nevins and a 2016 seventh round pick.
Yeah, Jack Nevins, according to actually Ameryk's beat writer, is a face puncher. at the AHL level who will be making his NHL debut because we Buffalo traded away so many forwards that we kind of need to call somebody up. So he's gonna join the team in Tampa tomorrow. And Torrey Mitchell was a fourth line guy who in the past couple of games has had to play first line center with Garrix and Ennis both being injured. He's not that good. He wasn't that good when he was with Minnesota. And I wasn't very happy when we got him in the Molson trade last year. And I'm kind of glad he's gone. So,
Yeah,
whatever.
works. So the next trade, you can try to pronounce this name on the right here.
Okay. The Toronto Maple Leafs acquired Eric Brewer and a 2016 fifth-round pick and sent to the Ducks Corbian Holzer.
Yes, I believe the top said. I think the Ducks were a little happy that Brewer's gone.
Yeah.
I know they weren't a fan of him, and they had to give up a 2016 fifth round. But I'm not sure about Holzer, what he is all about.
Let's see.
Holzer is a 27-year-old defenseman.
Yeah,
He's
so
a right-handed defenseman, so he's on the right side, which is always a coveted defensive position. So there's not many right-sided, right defensemen.
yeah.
They usually tend to be left. He's played 24 NHL games with 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points, and has 30 penalty minutes.
Okay, and he left the game on Sunday night with a concussion.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So they traded for a player that might not even play.
pretty much.
Oh, wow, okay. And you can try for the next one, too.
Sven Bertish
For all that, it's a former Calgary player.
to Vancouver
Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it.
for
I'll butcher it even more.
a
And in return,
2015 second-round pick.
I'm guessing this is good for both of them. I'm not sure about either player.
He's got 4 assists in 15 games with the Flames, 8 goals and 25 points in 36 games in the AHL. He was drafted in 2011,
Okay.
so still pretty young.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's a second round pick for this year though, so hopefully it will turn out good for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yes. And then the last trade. I want to say I called this trade happening like a week ago. Because every year for the past few years, we can't have a trade deadline happen without the Minnesota Wild trading with the Buffalo Sabres. This year, they acquired Chris Stewart, and Buffalo got a 2017 second-round pick.
I saw a lot of Buffalo fans wanting a trade of Chris Stewart. Is that just because they wanted to try to get something for him?
Yeah, because
Like,
he's
is
a
he leaving
UFA.
this year? Oh, okay.
He's a UFA. We got him in the Ryan Miller trade last year.
Okay.
But the reason it's the 2017 second-round pick is Chuck Fletcher of the Wild, the GM for them, didn't want to give up their 2015 second round, and they don't have a 2016 second-round pick. We do. We have that. So we just kind of had to take the next one in line. So,
yeah.
But I think it's good for the Wild. I know Stewart is a possession black hole. But the Wild are without one of their energy guys. In Jason Zucker, he has a broken clavicle, I believe is what it is. Let's just say his timetable for returning is
Not anytime soon.
May. And they're also without Matt Cook until who knows when. And they need somebody who can punch faces, throw hits, and play on the bottom, and chip in every once in a while with a goal. So that's pretty much Chris Stewart in a nutshell.
Yeah. It has been a very busy NHL trade deadline day.
Yes.
I saw a lot of people saying that the trade that was holding everything up was the Chris Stewart trade.
And
it
it
ended up being the last trade of the day.
Well, okay, so apparently Minnesota and Buffalo have been talking about getting, this Chris Stewart trade since the summer. So, and the price wasn't right until, the last minute of the
Till the
day.
last minute. It could even be after the last minute. Who knows when it was filed with how long you have to wait.
Yeah, but they had to. I know for the trade deadline, they have to be on the phone by 3 in the queue waiting. So,
Yeah.
but
And there was a few injuries that happened also. I guess we'll hit that before we
yes,
sign off.
big injury actually.
Yeah, Flames Giordano is hurt. Their
Torn
captain has
bicep.
a torn bicep tendon. Oh,
Ugh.
and will be out for the rest of the season. I know this is a huge blow to their, playoff push.
Oh
Are they
yeah.
still in the playoffs right now, or are they completely out?
I think
I have the wild card loading.
they're
They're
currently.
they're
Uh,
currently third in their division.
yeah, currently third in their
With
division.
the Kings tied with them, but they
Mm,
have the same amount of points, so they have a different tiebreaker than points. Games. That's what I'm looking for. They have the same amount of games played. They're both at 70 points, so they have a different
Bro,
tiebreaker. I'm not sure. Is it row?
it's
Yeah,
wrong.
the Calgary is 30, so the Kings 28. But Giordano is a huge blow.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the runners early on for Norris. So
hmm And I just want to point out how weird it is that the two people sitting in the wild card position in the West have more points than the two in the top two in Pacific. Those two spots. That shows something about the Central Division.
no, the Anaheim is higher than both of the
Yeah, I said, but
the bottom two.
yeah, the bottom two. Vancouver and Calgary have 75 and 70, where Winnipeg has 76 and Minnesota has 73. So it's still that's
Yeah,
pretty
Calgary,
nasty.
definitely one of the things that you're kind of laughing about a little bit. But yeah, who else was hurt today? I know there's a few other people that were hurt.
Um,
Cam Atkinson was extended by Columbus. Zuccarello was also extended.
yes.
And so was Pebbles, or Pierre-Edouard Bellemare from the Flyers. He was extended for 2 years, which made a lot of Flyers fans happy because we love our Pebbles, as we have
Nice.
nicknamed him. Because, his initials are PEB, and his name is obnoxious to try to pronounce really quickly, and you don't feel like typing it all out, so, just Pebbles.
Yep. Trying to think what else there
There was a
was.
thing happen on TSN today with Joffrey Lupul.
Oh yes.
I guess we'll talk
They
about this.
they tweeted something insinuating a tweet went
Yep.
across the bottom,
Yeah.
insinuating that Joffrey Lupul has slept with.
Was it Dionphanov's?
So it would be Alicia Cuthbert.
Yeah. And Dionphanov had replied back on his verified Twitter account, TSN, just a poor man's TMZ. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
He
It was.
went all out. So
Yeah, it was. Well, and then somebody, I think it was Willie Mitchell that also kind of said something
yeah.
about Glenn Healy.
Yeah, he called out Glenn Healy. Let's see. Wow. I just read it. Hey, Glenn Healy, shove it up your ass. The Panthers are a tad bit mightier than your career save percentage. Choo.
Well then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened. What other news?
A trade that almost happened this morning was the Voinov trade.
Okay, the Voinov trade, from what I hear, was just BS.
Yeah, it was his Russian agent had said something about him being traded to Philly after some miscommunication, and Bob McKenzie had to come out and say, yeah, it's not happening.
No.
Almost
And
gave a heart attack this morning.
what did happen is his trial got moved to next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing Russo reported, and he usually doesn't report, but Waugh, Landeskog, and McLeod will all be getting fines for their actions at the end of the Wild Avalanche game.
What did I miss?
Waugh sent out McLeod with 3 seconds left on the clock, and McLeod jumped Granlund.
Okay.
And then over on the bench, Landeskog reached around the divider and punched Koivu in the face.
Ooh. That is not something you do. I'm
No.
not surprised they got fined when in the Pittsburgh and uh what's Capitals game, pulling the player onto the bench and punching
Yeah,
him there. Why didn't they get fined for that?
I
Was
don't
that
know.
never was that
I
ever announced? It was a player on the bench that pulled him in and started punching, with Evgeny Malkin also on the bench, just started going wild.
I don't know about that. I know the reason why this happened was because there was 3 seconds left in the game,
Hmm.
which there are.
Yeah, you do get
Had
fines when you fight under 5 minutes, when you instigate a fight under 5 minutes.
only if the player on the ice gets called for instigating.
Instigation, yeah.
The refs did not call an instigating penalty. Instead,
Hmm.
they called it unsportsmanlike conduct, which didn't which meant that it wasn't an automatic suspension and fine.
Hmm.
So then it's up to the league to do whatever they'd like.
Yeah, but they do look at every game misconduct,
Yeah.
so which that is.
So it's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
interesting.
Zuccarello's deal was 4 years for 4.5 million a year. I don't know about the other deal. I don't think that was announced what it was. I know there was a huge talk about being sad that Phil Kessel wasn't traded today. Are you honestly surprised that he wasn't traded?
No, I'm not surprised. He's got a lot of contract, a lot of
But he's
term.
kind of worth his contract, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah, oh no, no, he's Kessel is worth that contract, but the point is they've got to find a player or a team that's
A team
gonna
that could pick up that
right.
contract, right? What
Um,
is his contract anyway?
his contract. Ooh, let me grab
It's
this.
$8 million a year until. Oof, how long does that go? Until the
Two,
20,
two, till
20,
two, the
wow. Oh,
2022. So it's not an
21,
easy contract to move.
21, 22.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. I guess that was signed before the new CBA.
Nope.
Was it? Not?
Nope. It was an
Wow.
after one. So it was an 8 because he signed an
Oh,
extension.
yeah.
He got 8 years.
Right, he got the max for 8
Eight
million.
years for
I
eight
mean, the
mil.
$8 million a year is stomachable, but for that long.
He's 27 though,
Yeah. How
so
old will
it's
he be? He'll be in his like mid 30s when that's over.
hmm it'll still
He'll
be
be
pretty good.
at the end of his career that I think this contract's done.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the point of that was why Toronto locked him up like that. But now they want to move him, and now they've
Yeah,
got to
he
find
is
a
their
player.
biggest asset. So
Yeah, and they got to find another team that's going to take on that much contract, give what Phil Kessel is worth. So
yeah,
there's a chance that like at the draft they'll
there'll be a
trade.
first and all that.
Yep,
First, probably a couple other picks. Probably I could see a first, an NHL prospect, an NHL ready player,
yep.
and maybe another pick somewhere else. Maybe another pick.
In my dream world, the Sabres would trade like Marcus Foligno, Mikhail Grigorenko, and our other first round draft pick that's not
Whichever
our
one,
own
yeah, whatever one
for
you have left over from the Islanders Blues.
yep,
You traded away one of them, right?
yep, and then get Phil Kessel. I'd be all for that, but
Who would you have play with them on your team?
well, I mean, we're gonna have McDavid or Eichel in center. We're gonna have Reinhart in second center. Vander Kane. We've got Matt Molson.
Yeah,
Ennis Girgensons. I mean, we've got players.
yeah, you do have a good setup. So, Vander Kane is a left wing, so he can slot on the top line with Phil Kessel.
Yep,
Phil Kessel's a right wing.
with McDavid or Eichel or whoever we get in the center.
Yeah, that could be very good for you guys. But
Again,
yeah,
Dream
I
World.
thought you guys were still holding out for your other Kane.
I'm not. I don't want that contract. It's like 12 mil.
Yeah, that is true. He did kind of sign a not hometown discount.
Neither of them did.
Yeah, which I was very surprised about. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's everything we have to talk
Yep.
about.
It's been a good deadline.
It's been a completely great day. Looks like Will just came back.
Yes.
Yes,
I was
He
just
came
talking about my dream world.
I noticed. Yeah.
back.
You're okay with
I
that
don't know about
trade?
giving up. I don't know about giving up Foligno, but
Where else? We're not gonna need him.
I know, but
I know,
he's fun to watch.
and he's
Phil
family.
Kessel's not. I mean, you all Phil Kessel and Evander Kane probably on the same line with either McDavid
Oh,
or
I
not.
could. Foligno could be replaced with any other player almost that we could think of.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
not that way,
So,
but
yeah. I don't have a dream world yet. We already have the prospects we need. They just have to be ready. 3 years. 3 years market. Philadelphia is ready in 3 years.
let's see. Or we could do Johan Larson. There you go. Have at him.
So, unless you guys have anything
Cameron,
else
when
you
you
want
guys
to
were
cover?
talking about contracts, you mentioned Zuccarello. Who else did you mention?
It was Zuccarello and it was Atkinson. Cam Atkinson.
Yes. Did you mention the terms on that?
That's a 3-year deal worth 10.5.
Okay.
It's not bad.
So it's about $3 million, a little more than $3 million a year. So
Thought it was 3.5 a year.
I
It
said
is
a little bit
3.5
more
a
than
year.
3, so it is 3.5.
It's
Okay.
like first year is 2.5, second year is 3.5, third year is 4.5.
Okay, so 3.5 is the middle ground.
Yep. Until
Okay.
2018.
And the other one is Bellemare, but it was a 2-year deal, and it wasn't announced what the contract is, but it's probably not that
I
much.
can
Okay.
check on my site and see what it says.
And it's not worth that much in all honesty. He is our fourth line player, a penalty killer. Him and Chris Vandevelde have been great together. So
Yeah, it doesn't say what it is yet, so they're kind of slow, but
yeah, I just don't think the Flyers have announced it yet, really.
mm,
It is what it is. We like Pebbles, so
any of
guess
these
that.
trades seem surprising.
Uh, not really. They're kind of all players on the list, so I don't really see many surprising trades that we
I
have.
was surprised that Stewart went to Minnesota.
I'm not. I called that.
I'm not surprised that someone went to Minnesota. I'm surprised that it was Stewart.
I called Stewart specifically going to Minnesota.
Wow, good for you.
I said it was going to be Stewart, and I had a feeling earlier today when they were talking about Leopold getting moved that he would go there. And the reason I said that is just because because I follow the Wild as well. I know what injuries and what players are missing right now. So I kind of had a feeling. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to throw something out there.
Yeah.
I kind of knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't find any surprising. I guess maybe the Clarkson was the most surprising, just because we all expected him to be on Tampa forever. Not Tampa, the Leafs forever.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of the most surprising for me.
Yeah. I'm surprised we got Kane still a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think
That's not bad.
of all the trades this trade season so far, I think Kane's been the biggest one.
Well, Hartnell beforehand was
Yeah.
huge. Outside of that, nothing really. Yeah, so I think that's all the deadline stuff we have to talk about.
Sounds good.
So this has been a special episode of our HockeyCast for the trade deadline. I've been your host, Dave Ball, also known as Blinston on Reddit and at Blinston1 on Twitter. Joining me is Cassie, also known as Abstract Halo on basically everything, and Will, also known as Dr. Liam on basically everything. You can find this show and all of our other shows on our website at ourhockeycast.com. You can look at our YouTube page, Our HockeyCast. You could look on our subreddit, r/ourhockeycast. We are in the process of being approved for iTunes. I'm not sure how long it takes, but it has been submitted. And I think that's everything there. You could talk to us on our Twitter account at Our HockeyCast. So without further ado, have a good night, everybody.
Thanks.
Good night.